Yes, good evening, USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, aka the YouTuber, host with the most, misunderstood lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, and rookie podcaster of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And you're rocking and hanging with me on the 38th episode of the Sports Edition show of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. And we got a lot in store for you today. Today's episode titled Future Hopes is all about the future Met players. And in terms of whether they're going to be back next year or whatever, but we're still waiting on some details in the upcoming months, like because December, January, and stuff, like because the preseason starts in February, so we got like December and January. So I'm gonna keep tabs on who on who's going to be included in the Mets roster and all that other stuff. So anyway, man, and also a little bit of Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone's future as coach. And yeah, and listen, if you would like to make a charitable donation to my Cash App, which is G Money Stacks 555, that's $ capital G lowercase MONEY, capital S lowercase TASTACKZ 555. It's not about having a lot of money. It's all about doing the best you can on whatever amount of money you choose will be appreciated. And if you're new to the YouTube universe and a new listener and you miss any previous episodes whatsoever, don't worry. I got you back with everything that's going to be covered in a sec. So we're live and direct from StreamYard alongside with YouTube, and aside of myself is the podcast show page, which is yes, the username is still Excellent Fun Vibrant podcast. But on the anchor side of things, because I added a word, because I talked about it in episode 34. In case you didn't know, I added a word in the title with talks instead of mechanics. So if you missed that one, check out episode 34 and other previous episodes. And I just dropped episode 37 already. So every episode is going to be every Thursday, but I'm going to try to see if I can add a day. I haven't decided on which day it's going to be, but I will get back to y'all on that one. But anyway, anyway, go grab that subscribe button for me on the Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast sports page on YouTube, and tap that noni bell so you can be reminded when the show goes in the air via live stream, alongside with leaving a like and a comment with the episodes and topics. And of course, stay tuned for more video content, current episodes, previous episodes, and of course, tell a friend to another friend. Word of mouth is important. Download these episodes. Make sure you actually share the videos and share the episodes with everybody that you know in the sports world right now. For those that's into sports and stuff, I do cover baseball. I do cover football. Do cover a little bit of basketball, a little bit of everything and stuff. Before I get started, I want to address something real quick though. Actually, let me save that for the podcast free game mechanism segment. I'm gonna save that. Anyway, without further ado, our first topic has to do with Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone. So this is the quick side bleacher bar segment right here. Let's get into it right about now. Let's get into it right now. Here we go. All right. So, according to the New York Post, this has to do with Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone talking to the media. Let's see what's going on here. This was posted on Friday, so let's get into it right here. Hal Steinbrenner quashed any notion of manager Aaron Boone's job being in jeopardy last month when he told the Associated Press he wouldn't be making a change at the spot, adding, I believe he's a very good manager. General Manager Brian Cashman went one step further Friday, saying he thought Boone in his first season at the helm of the Yankees did a great job. Boone drew criticism in the second half of the season and in the playoffs for some questionable decision making, from pulling Garrett Cole, excuse me. Yes, Garrett Cole for Lou Trevino. With the bases loaded and no one out in the sixth inning of Game 3 of the ALCS against Houston, to repeatedly using Clark Smith in critical spots out of the bullpen, to poor communication with Clay Holmes when the right-hander was deemed unavailable in Game 3 of the ALDS in Cleveland. Despite miscues like those, Cashman defended Boone, who signed a 3-year extension a year ago. Yeah. His process is good, Cashman said at Yankee Stadium on Friday. He's really good, and he's not afraid to deal with the obvious in the biggest market, which is talking through it to the best of his abilities when they don't work out. But I support him 110%. These days, it's Cashman who doesn't have a contract, but the longtime GM seems secure in his position, meaning the tandem is almost certain to be intact for at least one more year. It's not surprising when you consider the Yankees have made the playoffs in all 5 of their seasons together, but the franchise still hasn't been to the World Series since 2009. Damn. When you have success, there's less second guessing. And when you have failure, there's a lot of second guessing, Cashman said. You can pick apart anybody at any time. Houston Houston's Dusty Baker and Philadelphia's Rob Thompson certainly have raised some eyebrows occasionally on their respective paths to the World Series. Cashman made it clear that he has no issues with how Boone or his coaching staff approaches the game. And he said, and I quote, I do not question his process, Cashman said of Boone. I do not question his commitment with his staff and being in the best position they possibly can to make in-game decisions. They are not easy. They are really difficult as the ebbs and flows of these innings play out and what's available for you that day. I certainly believe in Aaron Boone and know he's paid to make difficult decisions on the run. I know a lot goes into them. Everyone he makes, am I going to agree with him? The answer is obviously not going to be yes. But I know I'm certainly not capable of managing a major league team. There's very few people that are. I think he's really good at it. He also admires Boone's ability and willingness to deal with the scrutiny that comes with the job. Repeatedly throughout Cashman's press conference, which followed Boone's, the second GM pointed to injuries to key personnel as a main reason why the Yankees followed up a red hot first half with a disappointing second half and postseason. I think he's got a great demeanor and rapport with his players, and when we were firing on all cylinders and healthy, we were tough to beat, Cashman said. It was fun to watch, then along the way, at the worst time possible, August and September, the wheels started falling off with injuries. Timing is everything, so that changes the equation, and ultimately, we didn't get as far as we'd hoped with the entire crew. We wanted it, but Boone never wavered, and his staff never wavered in. Um, how can we figure this out? And we'll find a way. For Boone's part, he said he wasn't concerned about his future following the playoff exit and is satisfied with how he and his staff work together. I am comfortable with our process, with my process, Boone said. You are constantly trying to evaluate that and trying to be better at it and trying to grow at it. I think I've done that and we've done that. I think we're a very well run and button up organization that is very prepared at what we do. Well, yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens we'll see what happens with Aaron Boone cuz he just as I said, he just hold on a second. He just wait hold on a second. Yeah, he just signed a 3-year extension a year ago, so that's pretty. That's pretty lucky. But you know, in another Yankee news, a former Yankee, Jose Canseco, out of all people, Jose Canseco is advising Aaron Judge to find greener pastures. Last week, former former NL Cy Young winner Jake Arrieta appeared on a Barstool Sports podcast and urged Judge to leave the Yankees for the Mets after the slugger was booed in the playoffs at Yankee Stadium. Canseco, tweeting for the first time in nearly a month on Monday night, concurred. Aaron Judge, Arrieta was right. Run, run, don't walk for the nearest exit. Get out of New York. The place is a dump, and the fans are awful. Canseco wrote. Aaron Judge, you are the god of baseball, and the New York fans would have easily crucified you at times. Get out of there ASAP. Oh my gosh! Wow. Judge is looming free agent coming off a season in which he slugged 62 home runs in an American League record. He is expected to command a contract that exceeds $300 million. Wow, 62 home runs. That's dope, man. That's very dope, man. Let's make some noise. All right. Let me see who. Let me see. I know there's some people that got a lot to say on here, but Barstool Sports said on Twitter, Yankee fans don't deserve Aaron Judge after booing him in the playoffs, and also Jake Arrieta has a clear message for Aaron Judge. Get out. Yeah, I already mentioned that. Canseco, a confessed former PED user who played for the Yankees in 2000, continued to take aim at the franchise's fans. Karen Judge, even if you were to replicate the season you had this year again, the fans would still hate you because you are making more money. New York is known for the most psychologically damaged, angriest people in the world, he wrote. Wow. And damn, man, that's crazy. And he did apologize for calling Aaron Judge Karen. I'm sorry, I meant Aaron Judge. Talk to text sometimes sucks, he tweeted. Talk then turn to a competition for feats of strength. By the way, Aaron Judge, I can still hit a softball further than you can hit a baseball anytime you want to find out. Contact me, Conseco tweeted. And he concluded his stream of conscience with a dire prediction for the Bronx Bombers. I predict that the New York Yankees will implode and then explode in the year 2023. Most likely might come in last place. Wow. Wow, that's damn. That's a kick in the ass right there, man. That's really a kick in the ass right there, man. Are you really serious? Do you really mean it? Do you really mean that shit? And I don't know, man. I think Jose Canseco was actually his ass is butt hurt right now. It is not anyone's fault, but you cheated by taking PED anyway, and that's why you fell off. Okay. All right. Now we need to get to okay, so before we even get to the Mets predictions for next year, um the minor league, yeah, we need to talk about the minor league right here. So the minor leagues didn't get a chance to cover this, but um so over the summer, um according to amny.com, in an unprecedented move among Major League Baseball owners, Steve Cohen and the New York Mets reportedly met with nonprofit group advocates for minor leaguers to discuss pay and unfair working conditions in the minors. According to reports, New York State Senator Jessica Ramos attended and helped mediate the first round of talks back in April. Ramos was also the senator who had originally wrote a letter to Cohen to address the several issues that have been brought up from the advocacy groups. Another meeting is scheduled for a later time period. Since Steve Cohen took over ownership of the Mets in 2020, he has been so responsive to the fans and cared for the team in a way that matches our devotion to the team. Ramos said in a statement, "I'm looking forward to sitting down with Uncle Steve, Uncle Steve, and the minor leaguers so we can work out a way to finish the job and extend that same sense of care to all the players." While the issues of fair play and living conditions have been a major concern, Ramos also proposed a number of other changes to be made for the minor leaguers, including but not limited to covering the cost of in-season housing, providing or covering the cost of meals, and covering the cost of off-season training. The talks are one of the first reported meetings between a front office and minor leaguers. The latest conversations with the Mets have come after MLB and its minor leaguers came to a settlement in a lawsuit back in May after minor leaguers had sued the league over unfair pay and living conditions. Hmm. Um, MLB raised minor league salaries in 2021, with full season minor leaguers earning between $12,000 and $16,800 per season. Hmm. Sounds like a lot of money. So Mets have been involved in minor leaguers discussions before. Yeah, minor leaguers Minor league players for the Mets High A affiliate Brooklyn Cyclones were among those who protested working conditions last September by wearing teal wristbands featuring the hashtag Fair Ball, a demonstration organized by advocates for minor leaguers. Steve Cohen has spoken out last July to say that he was looking into the treatment of the minor league players in the Mets organization. While minor leaguers' pay has improved due to their latest um, discussions with the Major League Baseball and the improper living conditions issue has continued to grow as a major issue for the advocacy groups. In a report in January, the advocacy groups have been looking for ways to close major loopholes and make public of any major league club that does not adhere to proper living conditions or pay wages in the future. The Mets and MLB both declined to comment on the status of the current meeting scheduled in the future. While Steve Cohen and the Mets have continued to set the standard for ball clubs when it comes to paying for top players in the world, they have also set the standard of trying to find new ways to make sure the minor leaguers are also taken care of with acceptable pay and fair living conditions. Okay. In other Mets news, hold on a second. Okay. Before I get to Craig Carlton, so this is basically a flashback of Keith Hernandez. Um, so this is what 39 years ago. Wow. That's what happened over the summer. 39 years ago today, the New York Mets traded Neil Allen and Rick Bay to the St. Louis Cardinals for first baseman Keith Hernandez. The move changed the course of Mets history forever, even after Hernandez's playing career. A league MVP in 1979, Hernandez played 10 seasons with the Cardinals. He helped St. Louis win in 1982. The 11-time Gold Glover was traded to the Mets in 1983 due to manager Whitney Herzog accusing him of dogging plays as a first as a base runner. Excuse me. The Mets took the trade, and it ended up being one of the best moves the franchise has ever made. In 7 seasons with the Mets, Hernandez hit 297 with 3 All-Star appearances, 5 Gold Gloves, and 3 straight seasons in which he was in the top 10 for league MVP. Hernandez's impact on the Mets was massive in helping win the 1986 World Series, the last time the Mets have won to date. Hernandez drove in 3 runs in the decisive Game 7 of that series against the Red Sox. Um, in 1987, Keith Hernandez was named the first team captain in Mets history, while his captaincy only lasted 2 seasons. Hernandez ended his career as one of the top defensive first basemen of all time. Keith Hernandez's impact on the Mets now. While Keith Hernandez's impact is well known on the field in New York, his recent work off it has only enhanced his credibility among the Mets faithful. As of 2006, Hernandez has worked with Gary Cohen and former teammate Ron Darling on the SNY broadcast of Mets games. His witty banter with the crew and insightful analysis has helped the broadcast team become one of the most revered in all sports. A member of the Mets Hall of Fame, the Mets also announced this year that Hernandez's number 17 will be retired this year, which already happened over the summer. So while it is easy to say that Hernandez's mark in New York will always be felt because of his playing days, his work post retirement has only helped enhance the aura that follows Hernandez around to this day. 39 years ago seems like a long time, but with Keith Hernandez's work, his legacy in New York will last forever. To this day, his trade to New York is still arguably the greatest trade um, the Mets have ever made. Yeah. Now on to SNY and Craig Carlton. Um, Before Steve Gelbs on SNY, there was Kevin Burkhardt. Before becoming the lead NFL play-by-play voice on Fox, Burkhardt originally was the field reporter for the Mets games and SNY. Um, from 2007 to 2014, while he had been calling games on a part-time basis for the NFL. Burkhardt left the Mets television network for a full-time gig with Fox in 2014. According to WFAN's primetime radio host Craig Carlton, Burkhardt leaving SNY was because the network had originally blocked him from leaving Fox the year prior. I remember when Fox first tried to hire him and SNY said no. Carlton said on his show, Carlton and Roberts, because they were very selfish back in the day. They didn't let him go. They wouldn't let him out of his contract. He was approached to get a job at the big network and SNY blocked him. Carlton's comment may be surprising to some considering the Carlton and Roberts show is being simulcast by SNY as well. Burkhardt did have a year remaining on his contract with SNY, and according to Carlton, was not allowed to take the network gig. The former sideline reporter eventually left the network and has now grown to being Fox lead play-by-play announcer following Joe Buck's departure. Wow. SNY is the latest network to have a feud with a host. It's not the first time that Carlton or WFAN hosts have criticized the network he has been working on before. Last month, Carlton attacked the network for not sending a camera crew to a live show the two hosts had done. Years prior, radio legend Mike Francesca criticized Fox Sports 1 for preempting him for the many sports that are covered on the network. While not the same as being upset over camera crews and Carlton's latest accusation of SNY opens up a whole new can of worms for both SNY and WFAN. Hmm. For Burkhardt, however, it's clear that SNY was just the stepping stone to the top of the sports broadcasting mountain. The 48-year-old broadcaster from New Jersey is expected to pair up with Greg Olson for this season's football coverage starting in the fall, which already happened already. Let's get to another story. Let me see. It's been some all right. This one right here. There's some more stuff in the air. Um all right, so this is according to the Bleacher Report. So Judge could already cashed in with the Yankees, but he rejected New York's their $213.5 million extension offer in the offseason. Judge wanted close to the 10-year, $360 million contract extension that center fielder Mike Trout received from the Los Angeles Angels. USA Today's Bob Nightingale wrote in April. Given his historic season, Judge's price tag has only gone up. ESPN's McDaniel recently polled 14 anonymous baseball executives about Judge's future contract value. The predictions average out to 8.6 years and just below $320 million. According to McDaniel, multiple experts put Judge's value just over Trout's annual salary. Trout is making $35.5 million annually, according to Spot Rack. Not all those, not all those questioned by McDaniel believe that Judge will be in Yankees pinstripes next season either. According to McDaniel, two execs picked the New York Mets, two predicted the San Francisco Giants, and one guessed either the Giants or the Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't know. The prediction here, though, is that New York finds a way to retain Judge. The Yankees love being a high-profile team and love having stars on their roster. Judge is the biggest in the sport right now, and he's played a huge role in putting New York atop the AL East standings. A big spender like LA could certainly swoop in and snag Judge, but we know that the Yankees are already willing to pay him substantially. The prediction here is that they up their offer and keep Judge for the foreseeable future. Now, the prediction, if Judge decides to re-sign with New York, yeah. And now, Jacob DeGrom of the Mets. Mets pitcher Jacob DeGrom should be one of the hottest hands to hit free agency, assuming he actually does go on the market. The four-time All-Star and two-time Cy Young Award winner appears likely to opt out of his contract. Mets people are convinced DeGrom will opt out almost no matter what. John Heyman of the New York Post wrote back in July. Though DeGrom battled through an injury hampered campaign this year, he suffered a stress reaction in his right scapula. We can expect him to command a hefty salary on his next deal. DeGrom, like Judge, hasn't discussed his desires aloud, but some believe Mets writer Mike Puma may prove. Sorry about that, folks. That was the loud car roaring by here. Yeah, may prove close to correct his estimate. It'll take $50. No, excuse me, $50 million or close to DeGrom in Queens. Heyman wrote in early September. If DeGrom opts out, the Atlanta Braves could be a threat to steal him from their NL East rivals. At least that was the view over the summer. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's there is a perception in some corners of the industry if Jacob DeGrom follows through with what he said in the spring and opts out of his Mets contract, the Braves will be the favorites to land him. ESPN's Buster Olney tweeted in July. The Mets and Braves are tied atop the division standings, and it's safe to say that Atlanta would prefer to be the heavy favorite in the division next year. Adding a healthy DeGrom to the starting rotation would certainly help accomplish that. And the prediction, okay, if DeGrom opts out and signs with Atlanta, oh wow. And Trey Turner, another rumor in the air. Trey Turner may not be as much of a household name as Judge or DeGrom, but the Dodgers shortstop is one of the top players set to hit the market. According to the Athletic, Fabian Ardea, the two-time All-Star, has not progressed in extension talks with the Dodgers at all this season. End quote. The Dodgers broached the idea of a long-term future with Turner's team over the winter, but didn't get into specifics. Turner told them he was willing to have talks until the start of the regular season. The Dodgers informed Turner shortly before the start of the year they would make him a formal offer, and there haven't been any discussions between the two sides about an extension since. LA typically isn't afraid to spend to contend. So the question here is whether the Dodgers value Turner enough to meet his asking price. The other factor is that Turner is far from the only big name shortstop like to be available. I don't. Well, yeah, Damsby Swanson of the Atlanta Braves is set to be an unrestricted free agent, and the Minnesota Twins' Carlos Correa certainly sounds as if he'll opt out and seek a new deal. I'm the product here, and if they want my product, they've just got to come get it, Correa said, per Max Wiseman of the New York Post. Turner will still be in high demand, but he might not have as many suitors as he would like. The prediction here is that this keeps his Prince point low enough that Los Angeles is comfortable locking him up long term. According to Ardea, Turner has reportedly talked about how comfortable he is with the Dodgers as a long term employer. That's if he resigns. Let's see. Yeah. So there is more to come actually. So let's get to hold on a second, man. Actually, there is a little more to the story. Okay. So, um, now we go to hold on a minute before I get to the 25 MLB free agency. There's a story that I didn't get a chance to cover. So here it is. So over the summer, of course, actually, so winning certainly helps breed an interest, and the New York Yankees' hot start seems to have sparked plenty of that, which has translated to the social media sphere. A new study released on Wednesday indicated that the Yankees were the most followed baseball team across Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. The bookmakers.com study showed that the Bronx Bombers dwarfed the second ranked Boston Red Sox by more than 5 million total users. Damn, is that so? That's crazy. The Yankees surpassed their crosstown rival, the New York Mets, by more than 10 million total social media users, according to the study. New York was also the only MLB team to finish among uh, the top 10 went up against all professional teams in the big four sports in North America. Basketball was king when it came to the bookmakers.com website study, which found the Los Angeles Lakers as the kings of social media with 51,956,000 total followers on social media. Among the Big Apple's nine professional sports teams in the Big Four sports, the Yankees reigned supreme with the New York Knicks and their 11,680,000 total followers taking second place. The Brooklyn Nets finished in third with 9,749,000 followers, and the New York Giants ended up in fourth. The Mets rounded out the top five among New York teams, and the New York Islanders finished last with just 1.316 thousand followers. The site the site scraped fellowship data from 124 pro sports leagues teams in the NBA, MLB, NFL, and NHL across Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and then compile a total number for each team, according to a release about the study. The research took place during the final week of May, and the data will be updated regularly during the year. The popularity of both of New York's baseball and basketball franchises shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, considering the two are often referred to as the city's most popular. Yeah, most popular. Okay. Now let me see. Let me see. Now before I even go to the 2025 Mets agencies, there's been one particular story that kind of crossed my mind actually, and this is basically about Brandon Nimmo. All right. Now last month, according to risingapple.com, here's what's going on here. The New York Mets signed Starling Marte last offseason to what has thus far been a nice addition to the ball club. However, there was one thing missing from his list of accomplishments. Marte ended up only appearing in 5 innings in 2 games for the Mets as their center fielder. Brandon Nimmo's success the year prior showcased that maybe he was the better option at the position. Okay. So as it turned out, the Mets weren't willing to move Marte to center field very often. In fact, Mark Canna would end up with the second most games at the position with 11. The Mets will not, I repeat, will not replace Brandon Nimmo with Starling Marte in center field unless they have to. There is one scenario where maybe Marte does move back to center field. If Nimmo walks, hopefully he doesn't, they may not have much of a choice. The market for center field free agents is Nimmo, and then everyone else. As well as always, this comes with a reminder, excuse me, that Aaron Judge can play the position, but he's more of a right fielder. Hmm. Penciling Monte in as a starting center fielder next year goes against the way he was handled in 2022. There were minimal opportunities when the Mets have may have started him at the position, yet decided to go in a different direction. A year older in 2023, and with average at best metrics as a right fielder, there is no cause to move him to the position we once believed he could play regularly for the Mets in 2022. How letting how letting Brennan Nimmo a disastrous to could be disastrous to the Mets. The only real bind the Mets will find themselves in is if Nimmo leaves, a good defender and also a producer at the plate. It's hard to let him walk and find anyone who comes close. Marte isn't a solution for more than only a couple of games as needed. We could see him we could see them find a Travis Jankowski type player to fill in on the roster. However, the organization has missed on a lot of those choices over the years. They are just not talented enough to play a whole lot of innings, even if their defensive reputation is a positive one. The Mets could use some changes to their outfield, but that won't include moving Monte to center field. The dream of signing Aaron Judge would certainly make that a bit better. The far more likely ending, the Mets better themselves offensively at the DH spot. Well, I gave my reasons. I actually talked about this. I actually talked about this episodes ago on why the Mets should keep Brandon Nimmo, and I talked about the tremendous plays that he made, not just getting on base, not just getting on base, but as a first batter, lead at leadoff, he does a lot for the team. And for me to actually watch him in action on SNY and those spectacular plays and contributing to the team, I say please do not lose. Last interview that he did after the Mets lost to the uh the the Pittsburgh Pirates, or the Padres, if you will. He said that he's still interested in being a Met. So, and speaking of which, I want to get to that other story that I had to look up too. Hold on a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on a minute here. Yes. Yes. In other Brennan Nimmo news, if the Mets aren't putting all of their proverbial eggs into one into the basket that is re-signing Brennan Nimmo, they could be facing a difficult winter that rips open a sizable void within the Mets roster. Nimmo is a free agent this offseason, coming off a career 2022 in which he posted career highs in games played, 151 and RBI 64 to go with an 800 OPS and a continuously improving glove in center field that made him a key cog in the Mets machine atop the lineup card, or while patrolling the outfield. And in quote, this outfield isn't an easy one to play. Our ballpark suppresses home runs. Mets general manager told Joel Sherman and John Heyman on the show. We all realize and acknowledge that. Depending on the year, it could be the 26th, 27th, 28th most difficult part to to hit a home run in. That leaves plenty of opportunities for balls to land in the outfield and fall short of the wall. Nimmo is the most valuable center fielder available on the market this offseason, which means the Mets are more likely than not facing a regression if he leaves. His WAR of 8.7 across the 2021 and 2022 seasons, according to MLB.com, is 5 points higher than the next best free agent center fielder in Kevin Kiermaier, who posted a paltry 649 OPS in 2022 with the Tampa Bay Rays. Barring a trade that would make the Mets' next best option in center field veteran Starling Marte, who began his career at the position but has since moved to right field at 34 years old. It's a concept that doesn't seem to thrill Epler. We believe he can play center field, Epler said. Part of the rationale in signing Marte wasn't so much that he was a center fielder. Having above average defense at all three positions was important to me, important to manager Buck Showalter. Can Starling still play center field? Yeah, we believe we can. That opens up some optionality how we would ultimately fill out that outfield. Of course, that's contingent on bringing back Nimmo, who is reportedly receiving interest from the Colorado Rockies, the team he grew up in Wyoming rooting for. That being said, it's not a closed case by any stretch of the imagination, Epler continued. Potential right field options on the free agent marker don't inspire much confidence either. Outside the pipe dream of luring Aaron Judge away from the Bronx if the Mets were forced to move Marte to center field. Mitch Hennig. Okay, hold on. So Mitch Haniger has posted a 162 game average of 37 home runs and 101 RBI over the last two seasons, but he only played in 57 games in 2022 due to COVID, a sprained ankle, and back issues. He also posted a -3 in defensive runs saved and a -7 in outs above average across 1,080.2 in 2 innings in 2021. Right field options grow more sparse on the open market with the likes of Will Myers, who played just 36 games at the position in 2022 with the San Diego Padres, along with former Mets Michael Conforter and Tyler Naquin providing the next best options. it would lead one to wonder if Jeff McNeil would be the most suitable in-house option in right fit and right under such a hypothetical situation, given his experience playing the outfield at City Field, though the Mets would then have to look for a full-time second baseman, a position that McNeil excelled at. Granted, this is the optionality that Epler mentioned, but it's abundantly clear that the Mets won't find many other options outside of a blockbuster trade than ensuring Nimmo stays in Queens to keep center field all his own. It's a good thing the 29-year-old is open to staying with the club that drafted him 11 years ago. I'm definitely interested, but there's a lot of things that go into that this off season. And like I said, I'm still trying to digest that. Nimmo said after the Mets were eliminated from the wild card, but I'm definitely interested. There's no question. Yes, let's hope the Mets keep Nimmo, man. He is one of the best players that I ever seen play in action on TV. Yeah, yeah. They need to consider re-signing him. They have to. You know what I'm saying? They have to. Because look, Brandon Nimmo is one of the best center fielders that I ever seen. He's younger than Starlin Marte. You know what I'm saying? That'd be a fucking shame if you try to replace Nimmo with Starlin Marte at center field, which he's not this he Starlin Marte is not the same player as he used to. You know what I'm saying? that would it would be disastrous if you replace Nimmo with Starlin Marte. It would be a big mistake, man. So please think about it. And we go to the top MLB free agents for 2022. And some rumors in the air that we got to get to right here. MLB free agency. So we're not going to get into all this shit right now. You can go to the homepage. I don't know. Oh boy. So rumors in the air. Hold on a second. Actually, hang on a minute. Hold on. Hold on a minute. Just a second. Just a second. Just a second. Man. All right. All right. So MLB free agency is almost here. So it's time for my annual top 25 list with contract predictions and the best team fits for each player. Based on what I'm hearing and thinking about this offseason standouts. Eligible players technically become free agents the day after the World Series ends, but cannot sign with a new team until 5 days after the final out. The clock is ticking. God damn it. Hold on a second, folks. I need to really get to the. I need to really, really, really. Hold on a minute here. MLB predictions. No. Just a second. Okay. All right, Mets baseball predictions. I'm sorry. I had to get out of that website. The Athletic. Hold on a second. Mets baseball predictions. So let's get into it. Um, Baseball predictions. I'm not even going to get into it, all that. So, no, let's see. No, no. Hold on a minute. Predictions in off season. During off season. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. So, here we go. The 2022 to 2023 New York Mets offseason, um, nothing has been more exciting since the 2021 to 2022 New York Mets offseason. It's going to be hard to top signing Max Scherzer, a deal which redefine our expectations. The team coming up short this past year should have them should have them looking to make equally as big of splashes. To get everyone ready for what lies ahead, I thought now would be an appropriate time to start predicting what the Mets will do. There's some good, there's some bad, there's some wait and see. These five the boldest predictions for the Mets this off season. And this is from what is it? Yeah, this is from the Rising Apple website. Okay. So so number one, the New York Mets will lose Jacob DeGrom to the Texas Rangers. Let's get the bad out the way early. Jacob DeGrom leaves. He has thrown his last pitch for the Mets until maybe the very end of his career when he returns. Even if DeGrom enjoys being with with this franchise, it seems like he won't be back. Call it a gut feel. Signs seem to be pointing toward some changes for him and the organization. It won't be for a lack of effort. The Mets will make the Grom a more than fair offer. However, the Texas Rangers are going to roll out the red carpet for him. The Grom seems to care a lot about getting paid what he feels he is worth. There's nothing wrong with it. We all do the same too. If the opportunity presented itself. Opting out of his contract makes the most sense for him right now. He needs to capitalize on the opportunity. The Rangers have already hired Bruce Bochy to their manager and should be in the market for some big attention. DeGrom will be one of them. Bringing in Clayton Kershaw could be another. Fortunately, it's not checkmate against the Mets. They have another move up in their sleeve. Oh Lord. Oh my Lord. Let's see what else. New York Mets signed Justin Verlander to replace Jacob DeGrom. I don't know about Justin Verlander. Isn't he with the Houston Astros? I could have sworn he was with the Houston Astros that just won their sixth World Series. But anyway, what do you think? What do you do when you lose one of your best pitchers? You go out and sign someone else's. Justin Verlander could top the double AV Cohen gave to Scherzer last season. It would be a major counterattack if the ground does indeed leave New York. This prediction falls somewhat in line with what happened between the Atlanta Braves and Freddie Freeman last winter. We could see DeGrom versus the Mets in a who blinks first contest. The Mets shouldn't wait too long, though. If they can snag Verlander, they need to. Verlander an also has an opt out in his contract. Even if the Houston Astros have proven to be one of the best places to win a championship. Mr. Kate Upton. Mr. Kate Upton. Oh shit. Oh shit. Mr. Kate Upton could be looking for a oh shit. Could be looking for a change of scenery, new challenge, or just the biggest boatload of money. Houston can move on from him more easily than the Mets can lose the Grom, and not making a huge transaction to replace him. The Mets should remain built around a starting rotation of aces. It's what has tended to work for the organization. Scherzer as the number one guy with some talent arms behind him might be enough. The Mets could always bring back Chris Bassett and Carlos Carrasco, two of the most realistic possibilities. They may even do more. This leads to the next prediction. The big Mets, the big Mets trade of the offseason. Number 3, New York Mets trade for Shane Bieber and extend him immediately. It's going to be around mid-January or maybe even early February when the Mets trade for Shane Bieber. The Cleveland Guardians ace is one of the likeliness trade candidates out there this off season. His growing salary makes him someone the Guardians will inevitable move. What kind of package would the Guardians want? Using the Francisco Lindor trade as a gauge. Well, look, I don't know about all that, man. Francisco Lindor is basically there with the Mets for like 10 years, I believe, from what I've been hearing and watching actually. So I don't know if that's gonna really work. So the Mets would have to at least include a starting pitcher, Tyler McGill or David Peterson to work. To David Peterson would work. On top of that, the Guardians would need some top prospects. It's hard to see them having too much interest in Ronnie Mauricio. Although, if they are also interesting in moving on from Ahmad Rosario for someone cheaper, it could work. Imagine a middle infielder of Mauricio and Andres Jimenez in Cleveland. Mark Vientos would be a no-brainer to include in the deal. The Mets would probably also have to include one other prospect, maybe a starting pitcher such as Dominic Hamill. With this prediction, the Mets add a third ace to the staff. They also sign Bieber to an extension immediately. Scherzer will be gone soon, and Verlander won't be around for much either. Bieber is a younger arm for the Mets to lock up. He also helps complete the most dangerous trifecta in the game. Number 4, New York Mets make a serious offer to Aaron Judge and for Shohei Ohtani. Now, I've been hearing this rumor about Shohei Ohtani. There was a story about this too. I was like, wait a minute. Now, I didn't get a chance to check that out, but um, here's what's going on here. Now that the starting rotation has been fixed, let's look at some offense. Free agent Aaron Judge will draw plenty of interest from teams with the cash to pay him. The same is true for trade candidate Shohei Ohtani, whose status with the Los Angeles Angels seems to point toward the team shopping him this winter. Unfortunately, for those hoping to see the Mets land either, it's not gonna happen. Judge seems bound to return to the New York Yankees or end up with the San Francisco Giants. Take your pick. It's not the Mets he would play for in 2023. As for Tani, a trade for him this season will cost a little too much compared to waiting for the deadline or him to hit free agency. Plus, with prediction with the Mets, will trade for Bieber, their best assets to acquire the modern day Babe Ruth have passed by. Um, the Mets will still make Judge a realistic free agent offer, but nothing close to what he'll get from the other two teams in the race. The Mets will also be unwilling to give up as much as the Angels want for Otani. At least the conversation will get started for a possible trade deadline conversation, and Otani will be fully aware that Billy Epler would like to work with him again. And so the New York Mets play wait and see with some offense, with the offense. Only make minor additions. What will the Mets do to improve the offense? Not a whole lot. There will be some minor additions to the roster. However, with most of the starters under contract and younger players ready for the big league action, we won't see a complete overall. I'm predicting Brandon Nimmo does return for center field duties, which is what we discussed just now. Um, this leaves the team with only really the DH spot to make major changes. Something tells me we something tells me we get a Daniel Vogelback platoon to begin the year. Pairing him with Francisco Alvarez seems to be one way to get the kids back in the lineup more regularly than becoming an everyday catcher from opening day onward. The DH spot could also be a place where the Mets rotate players through a little more regularly. Starling Marte could benefit from a few extra days off of his feet. The Mets already have enough candidates for the DH spot and young players who should should excuse me help round out the roster to get those opportunities too. Many of the older DHs out there in free agency, the team could come with some risk and would be too limiting. Epler will add to the position players by maybe signing at least one part-time player, but filling out the rest of the club with familiar names and faces. The bullpen will be a major part of the organization to tackle. Have added with your predictions there. Might you might want to start with a dartboard. Well, oh man. And I think yeah, of course there's rumors in the air actually hold on, I already covered that one right there. Let's see. Let's see what else can we cover here. Um Let me see here. I did talk about that right there, man. Um okay, let's see if I covered everything here with every topic. Um or season, it's baseball predictions. Well, I think I covered everything. Hang on a second here. All right, I think I covered everything here, man. And I think that's gonna do it for this episode right here. Episode 38 right here. Now I haven't done this segment in a long time. I'm gonna actually go to we're gonna go to podcast free game mechanisms right here, man. So let's get into it right now. All right. You know how this segment goes right here. This is a segment where for people who want to start a podcast, like I'm doing right now with three podcast shows underneath my belt. And um, for the most part, there's some key important things that you need to act. There's some important things you need to actually um start a podcast with some important key equipments. First and foremost, you need headphones. And of course, you need a microphone right here. Now it could be a Yeti microphone, it could be an Voxcon microphone, A800 model that I'm using right now, which I bought from Target months ago. And you can find it. You can find microphones in Best Buy. You can find it in Target. You can find it on Amazon, and you can also find microphones in Walmart. Now, for the most part, if you have a unique name for your podcast, um, let it be something that nobody has ever heard before. All right, and for the most part, you want to find your wins, your what, your whys, your hows, and all that other stuff. And you also want to be confident in your creativity of your ideas and stuff. And for the most importantly, I want to actually say something and address something actually. Look, every human being who is a podcaster, host, or anywhere else of what you're trying to do in any career field whatsoever, it's inevitable to avoid making mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes eventually. You're fucking human. You shouldn't have to be shamed for a fucking butchering of words and a person's name in basketball or any other sport whatsoever. You shouldn't have to be shamed for that shit though, man. You should not. You're not perfect. You're not gonna be a perfectionist at everything. Just to let you know right here, right now, it really, it really, it really kind of bothered me for it really kind of bothered me when I was at work yesterday because I was like, wait a minute. How first of all, you have to understand the process behind, you know, not only coming up with topics and producing episodes by myself. It is a it is a it is a big ass process, man, especially adding topics that you're gonna actually talk about and stuff. And as a person like myself who does watch sports, I do watch baseball, I do watch football, and sometimes I might even check out a little basketball, man. But the way I could prepare myself for podcast recordings in advance for future upcoming episodes is for me to actually go to sports websites and stuff. Like for example, I use a website called amny .com along with sometimes the Bleacher Report, the New York Post. There's various websites, man, that I use, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not the person who wrote this stuff. And and the most important thing as a podcast host is to not only be yourself. That's the number one thing to do. To just be yourself. Don't worry about being a people pleaser. Don't worry about um don't worry about blaming yourself for every butchering of each word and a person's name. You just keep going, okay? You just keep on going. And whoever wants to tell you should watch Sports Center 24/7 or whatever, no, no. You actually show yourself with some action, consistency, and some confidence. Forget about being a people pleaser, man. Fuck that shit. Fuck fame. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to put it out there because, I don't like when people are being shamed for mispronouncing words and mispronouncing people's names or whatever. I mean, y'all act like y'all never know how to pronounce a person's name or anything like that all your lives. So just stop this shit, man. You feel what I'm saying? Just stop this shit. Like, this is ridiculous. This ain't college. This is this is real life shit. All right. And another thing that you need, I just wanted to put it out there though. Just to stress this out though, man. Like I said, don't worry about being a people pleaser because you're not gonna make everybody happy all the time. So don't worry about that and just focus on doing you. The most important key thing that you need to start a podcast is a laptop with a webcam. So yeah, if you have a Dell or a Apple laptop or whatever, depending on how many gigabytes it could hold, go for either model depending on how much gigabytes it could hold as far as memory. Um, yeah, yeah. So laptop is the main important thing. You also need a supporting software, which is where StreamYard comes in. Now, StreamYard is the software that I use to feature 3 of my YouTube channels right here, including this sports channel right here, and my review show, which is Meticulous Juice Podcast, is also on there. And my primary handle on the YouTube channel page is G Money Stacks 555. That's where you can see all the New York episodes on there. And and of course you can add Facebook, you can add LinkedIn, which I don't really use. But you can also add Twitch. You can also add Twitch to this though. Now keep in mind, man, you wanna keep in mind though, man, after you're recording, you want to make sure that if you have a YouTube channel, make sure you upload the video to your YouTube channel, because the people from Twitch, last time I checked, they actually delete your videos in amount of days or something like that. Um so so yeah, there you have it right there. And of course, you also need a hosting site. Now, I'm gonna recommend Anchor FM because that's the number one primary hosting site that I use, because they allow you to own your stuff, your shows that you created. That way, you don't have to worry about being ripped off by certain companies that has a podcast network. No, listen. No, not to the people who have podcast networks and stuff, but you want to be careful, because I notice a lot of so-called podcast promoters and stuff. They don't what they the two things that they don't have on social media, including Instagram, is they don't have a contact, like an email address, and they don't have like a phone number on there. They don't have that. So you might want to be careful and basically steer away from um podcast network related stuff, the so-called scam. There's scams going on around there. So you might want to be careful with that one right there. And and for the most part, you also want to make sure that they are legit. Because if they're not legit, don't do it. Don't do it. So let's see. So like I said, man, Anchor.fm. Yeah, Anchor FM. You can set up your trailer of your podcast. I didn't necessarily need a trailer for my podcast shows that I did, because I knew I was going to take this shit seriously and not as a joke. So that's the reason why I chose not to do trailers and shit like that, because and and for the most part, um video clips and shit doesn't really give any of the listeners and watchers any clarity. Like, I want to make sure that there's clarity into the topics that I'm going to be talking about on the sports podcast show that I'm doing now. the New York podcast show that I'm doing primarily, which is the number one success out of all three. Over 200 episodes, of course. And the most important thing about that is I also, yeah, and my third podcast, of course, which is Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast Review Show. It's also going to be reaching its 100 episode real soon. So, you know what I'm saying? And also, let me see if I have any other tips. Okay, so like I said before, do not worry about being a people pleaser and do not worry about, the mistakes of butchering people's names in sports or anywhere else whatsoever. And do not worry about butchering any words because number one, you are only human. You're only human. And as far as anybody who's going to tell you should do better with improvement has no idea what it's like to produce episodes by themselves and to do everything on a consistency basis, okay? I just want to stress this out for anybody that's, that want to create a podcast, start a podcast, and get some tips from me in terms of the equipment that you need. You know what I'm saying? Um, and don't worry about competition with other podcast shows whatsoever if they got more episodes than you. It's not about competition with others. You should be having a competition with yourself. Period. You feel what I'm saying? That's the whole point. Just do you, just be yourself. And that's my tips for podcast free game mechanisms. Boom. Yes. Also, our last segment of the night is stream choices on the go, man. One of my favorites right here. This is the segment about where you can listen to the episodes of three of my major podcast shows that's actually doing well right now. I'm not, and another thing that I want to point out too, man, don't worry about the analytics. Don't worry about the analytics though, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be depressed over numbers, whether it's bad or whatever case scenario may be. It just takes time to grow your shit. You know what I'm saying? It just takes time. There's no there's no right or wrong way for you to do a podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put it out there right now. So before I even get into this segment right here. So here it is. All right, you like what you heard in today's episode or any previous episodes that you missed or whatever, feel free to catch up on the episodes on every streaming platforms, which I will talk about after I discuss where you can follow the show. You can follow Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. Show your love by following Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast Sports Edition show on Instagram alongside with the review show of Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast, and of course my number one show of 203 episodes off the Meat Rat Chains New York podcast as well. And you can also follow me, your boy G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York, aka the Greginator. Yeah, the Greginator. That's what G stands for, the Greginator. It stands for my name. So, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, some people know me as Greg, which is what it is actually. So yeah. And make sure you turn on your notifications for updates on each episode that's going to be posted to every stream platform because I do it every Thursday, and I'm thinking about adding another day to actually do this. I will let y'all know on which day I am going to be adding besides Thursdays. So I'll let y'all know in the Insta story. Um I'll let y'all know in the Insta story when I get a chance to post it. So all right, so now that I got that out the way, let's get into where you can listen to um the episodes. So there we go. You can listen to the episodes on every streaming platforms. You can leave a voice message on there on anchor.fm/message. Um and yeah, Anchor is the first thing we're gonna start with. And Audible, Audacity, Amazon Music, Breaker, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podfriend, Podorama, Podopolo, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Reason FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Podcasts. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating on Podchaser, Podfriend, alongside with Apple Podcasts, and along with Spotify. With a 5-star rating will be appreciated. And of course, be sure to listen to Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, the sports edition show on Radio Public, alongside with iHeartRadio, the number one app for music, radio, and podcasts. You don't need a credit card or a debit card to actually download this app. You can download it to your iPhones, your Android phones, iPads, and your Android tablets. And of course, laptop included. And make sure you follow my other two shows. It's also on iHeartRadio as well, which is Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast Review Show with 95 episodes. Off the Meat Rat Chains New York Podcast episodes 203, also on there as well. 203 episodes on there. And of course, last but not least, make sure you grab that subscribe button for me on the Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast YouTube channel page. Click on that noni bell so you can be reminded when the show goes in the air via live stream. More video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes. Leave a like and a comment along with the topics that's being discussed. Download these episodes. Tell a friend to another friend. Share the videos. Share the episodes. Be sure to download these episodes. Make sure you listen, stream, and watch these episodes in case you miss any of them. Everything's all there on every streaming platforms, including this one right here. After episode 38 gets recorded, it'll be posted to the YouTube channel page automatically. I don't have to manually do it, so I let it do it for me. So you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I let the shit do it for me though, man. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, don't forget to actually spread the word. And share this podcast along with the link that says Linktree/Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast with every streaming platform, including YouTube, with your wives, your husbands, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your friends, and the people that you are cool with, of course. And along with everybody that you go to work with. So yeah. And that's gonna do it for me. I'm G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Thank you very much for listening and tuning into episode 38 I will cover what's going on with the off-season stories, as far as like what's going on with the Mets, and as far as like which particular baseball players that's going to be back. As far as like people like Chris Bassett, people like um Carlos Carrasco, aka Cookie, along with other people, and I'll keep tabs on what's going on with Brandon Nimmo and Jacob DeGrom and all that other stuff whatsoever. I know the off season is going to be it. The off season is going to be like a long time actually. So we got this month, we got December, and we got January, and then we got February of next year, to include spring training. Who's going to be there in spring training? So that's the question that I'm going to leave it right. I'm going to actually leave that off right here because we don't know the predictions of what's going on here. But as I covered the stories and predictions, it's just to give you an idea on which particular players are going to be back and the ones that's going to be triggered off, which is going to be unfortunate. So we got more to cover on that one right there. And of course, going to be covering the NBA, and I'm going to be covering what's going on with the New York Giants. So I haven't had a chance to, because there's been some mixed there's been some stories going on with the whole Kyrie Irving anti-Semitic shit that's going on. I will touch on that in the sports podcast right here on this platform right here. So yeah. So stick around for new topics to come. I love y'all. And I hope y'all switch y'all clocks back an hour. Daylight savings time ended yesterday night. So I had to set my clock back an hour before I went to sleep. So basically you'll be getting some darkness at between 4:30 to 5 o'clock. If you're living on the East Coast, yes. Now for the people that's in the West Coast, and Midwest, Mid East, the dirty South, wherever you live, of course, you want to check out your listings of you want to check out your listings. So there you have it. Anyway, man, I'm out of here. Thank you very much. I'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace and one love. And stay liquid. Stay liquid. And remember, the grind doesn't stop. New York wasn't built in a day. If you want something, you have to work hard and you have to earn it. And of course, as I always say at the end of the show, be sure to follow your dreams and do something that makes you smile mentally, physically, and spiritually, alongside with um being able to be yourself, be human, regardless of what mistakes you made. Be human, be you. Don't worry about being a people pleaser. And of course, make sure you basically take the time, creatively speaking, to be on your P's and Q's on a consistency basis with your craft. That gets you into your zone with some tunnel vision. All right. Stay liquid, stay safe, everybody. Peace and one love. I'm out of here. And I'll see y'all next time. Good night, folks.